Hello everyone. In this video, I am going to talk about how to make a stud wall inside of Revit using a beam system. So the first thing I'm going to do, I open up a new file. It's an architectural file. I'm going to go ahead and check a couple things. First, my elevations. I'm going to open these up. I want to make sure I'll set at 10 feet, which I am. So I'm happy about that. The next thing I'm going to do, close that out, is I'm going to go ahead and load in the studs that I need. So let's go ahead and go to Insert. This is our framing material, load family. And I'm going to go ahead and load in for structural framing and wood and dimensional lumber. And I'm going to grab the 2x4s here. Just so you know, I'm going to be doing this in two different videos. This is the first part, which will be setting everything up, getting the studs in there, and then actually doing the framing will be in my next video. So here we go. I have that in there. Just go ahead and just load a couple other things in just so I already have them. I don't have to come back to this. I'm going to go ahead and load in my doors for later. What's that looks cool? Yeah, like this one right here. So that'd be my door. Sure, whatever. You can pick whatever you need. And let me go ahead and load my windows. And all I'm doing again, it's under Insert, Load Family. And then I'm just going through and finding the ones I want. So this is going to be Windows, starts with a W, last time I checked. And what looks good? No. Trying to think of anything's jumping out at me here. Let's do this one. Window double hung. Open. I'm just going to grab this one right here. That'll be fine. All right, so I have my windows, my doors, and my dimensional lumber laid in or put in there. So let's go ahead and create a very basic wall. I'm going to come to my architectural tab. I'm going to grab a wall. I'm going to make this thing, I don't know, let's make this thing 44 feet. Go, press escape. I now have a wall sitting in there. Cool. All right, so the next thing I need to do, I like to do this in everything now in the 3D view for putting my stud walls in, or my studs. I'm going to take this wall here, and I'm going to go ahead and constrain it to level 2. That way, in case I need everything to change, I will be able to do that later, and everything will actually stay connected. So I'm going to come to my top constraints over here in my wall properties, and I'm going to constrain this to level 2 and apply. And there we go. I now have my 40-foot wall that is 10 feet high. All right, next thing, we're going to get into over here the beam systems, which is right here in the structure area. When I select it, it's going to, first we have to figure out what face we're going to put this on. Right now the work plane is sitting at the 1 foot or level 1. I want to put this in the wall here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my work plane. I'm going to pick a plane. I'm going to say okay. And the plane I want to pick is the front face of this wall. You see it turn blue there. I'm going to click it and I'm happy. If I go to show, there it is, right there on that face. That's where I want everything. So I'm happy with that. Now I'm going to go ahead and build my boundary line. So my boundary line is selected. I'm going to do a rectangle, and I'm just going to start in this endpoint in the top left and move down to the bottom right. And I'm happy with that. All right, the next thing I'm going to do is actually set the height of this thing. Now at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and move so I'm looking directly at this. And I'm happy with that. Get out of that tool, press escape twice. I'm going to bring the bottom up a little bit, and I'm going to bring the top, or I'm going to go ahead and set this first. And this is for my bottom plate. There we go. This is a 2x4 that goes across the bottom, which means this is 1.5 inches. So 1.5 inches from the bottom. That'll allow a 2x4 to set underneath there. And then I am going to grab this top line and bring it down. And you're going to notice, because of the direction I built this stuff, I can do my top dimension offset in the top left, and the bottom right had my lower one. And this one here, since we use a double top plate, it's going to be 1.5 inches times 2 or 3 inches. All right. So now, if I change the height of my wall, my stud wall or beams are going to actually change with it, except for it's going to leave me my gap for a double top plate at the top and a uh, single bottom plate at the bottom. A few other things I need to do is I need to go up here to my properties, and I'm not going to do this on 6 foot. I'm going to do this on 16-inch centers. So I'm going to change my 6 foot here to 16 inches. Tab. And my justification is center, my beam type. There's my 2x4s that I loaded in. So I'm happy with this. Last thing I need to do is change my beam direction. Right now, these two lines here, above and below this this boundary line, is showing me which direction these beams are going to go. I do not want them to go horizontally. I want them to go vertically because they are going to be bearing the weight, and that's how you do stud walls. So to change that, let's come up here to beam direction in the ribbon. And I'm just going to select the line here on the left. I could pick the one on the right, doesn't really matter. I'm just going to pick the one on the left here. And you're going to see those lines switched to over here. Now everything is set for me. I hit the green check mark, and I have a 2x4 with a bunch of 2x4 studs inside of this wall. I'm going to turn this a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. Yep, looks good. I'm going to type in VG for visibility graphics. Come down here to my wall at the bottom. And I'm just going to change my transparency real quick to 25%. Apply. Okay. This way I can actually see through my wall pretty well. I can see what's happening. There's all my studs sitting inside the wall. I'm happy with this. If you want to, you can just or change where you put these things. You can center them up a little bit more. It is up to you, but this is what I'm going to work with. So I'm happy with this. I'm going to put a couple things in here just to set us up for framing later. So here's my wall. I'm going to come over here to my level 1, and let's go ahead, go to the architectural tab. Let's toss our door in here. So my door, yep, that's this one that we chose, the 72 by 80. Yeah, something like that. And I'm going to go ahead and press escape. I'm going to bring in my window. So again, architectural tab, a window. Let's put it there. This will make me happy. Looking at it from 3D view, everything looks good. I may end up moving this around just a little bit once I get into this. And all I'm doing really right now is checking how all my boxes line up. Yep. For instance, this one here, I'm going to probably move this over just a little bit. And the reason for that, actually, I'm going to move it the other way, is that it helps me put my studs together. I can just put the double, I can put my regular stud in and then my king stud right next to it, and I'll be happy there. And then my window, you can actually see in this one here, if I come up a little bit, there's the framing edge. So I'm pretty good here. I think I like this. Very good. So with that said, it looks like this demo is done, and I am ready to go ahead and stop it so I can show you all how to frame in the next video. If you have any questions, please let me know.